Yo, this is Pete the Kid Chocolate, and right now you rocking with Real Friends, Real Talk.
Face facts, what up, what up? Real fans, realtalk.com. The Arthur Diamonds, Trip Young, and intern Tom. For the white and black fans, Asia to Manhattan. I get all my facts from my bro, Mark the Stats Man. If you're not tuned in, I recommend the CAT scan. And if your brain checks out, then you deserve a backhand. Sports, gossip, all the hot topics. Real fans, realtalk.com got it. They got the hottest bloggers. Did Jeremy Lin hurt? Well, log on to the site and you can hear it from them first. I'm talking about the latest. I'm talking about the greatest. Go check out the archives. Even tell a neighbor. Tell him Bobby sent ya. From spring to winter, tuning in should be the only thing on your agenda. Certified co-son, you know what I'm about, son. Real fans, realtalk.com. I'm out, what? Real fans, real talk. Real fans, real talk. Real fans, realtalk.com. Real fans, realtalk.com. Real fans, real talk. Real fans, real talk. Real fans, realtalk.com. Real fans, realtalk.com.
What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? We are back. Well, actually, we're not back. I'm just back. It's Trip Young. I'm right here in the studio by myself this week. I know you're thinking, well, where's the rest of the crew at? They're around. We're just not going live this week, but that's because we've been promising you guys we will get you part 2 of the Ring 10 New York Charity Awards dinner, which of course featured Ray Boom Boom Mancinni, Livingstone Bramble, I Ran the Blade Barkley, the one and only Harold Lederman, aka the Lederman card from HBO Boxing. Mark Breland was in the building. Aaron Superman Davis was in the building. Larry Barnes, Peter Kid Chocolate Quillen was in the building. So many boxing greats, so many legends were in the building. And without any further ado, we're going to jump into some of the interviews.
Hello, everyone. Mark the Statman Skevich from the award-winning sports talk show Real Fans Real Talk on realfansrealtalk.com. Back again with the legendary Harold Lederman. Now, Harold, last year at Ring 10's charity event, we were talking about a much-anticipated fight that never happened, Manny Pacquiao versus Floyd Mayweather. As far as his comeback, do you think he'll be the same Manny Pacquiao as he was before?
Yeah, tougher than ever. He's coming off of 2 losses. You know, he lost to Timothy Bradley, then got knocked out by Juan Manuel Marquez. Now he's motivated. I mean, he don't want to lose 3 in a row. He'll be back, and he'll look good.
All right. Do you think that Floyd Mayweather will remain undefeated throughout the course of his career?
Well, it looks that way. I mean, you never know. You know, I mean, guys get older. He's 39 already, I believe. But I think he'll get by Canelo Alvarez next week. That's for sure.
Do you think if Pacquiao gets back to his winning ways that we'll eventually see the fight that everyone was anticipating between Pacquiao and Mayweather?
Well, you know, Mayweather's one of these legend guys. You know, he believes in his legend, what people are going to think of him after he's retired. And really, he's going to have a hard time cementing his legend without fighting Manny Pacquiao. So somewhere down the line, I really think he's going to take the Pacquiao fight, yes.
All right, and one fight that is actually going to happen in less than a week, Manny Pacquiao, Canelo Alvarez. I know you don't like to pick fighters, but how do you feel Canelo Alvarez will match up against Floyd Mayweather?
He's going to have a hard time. Floyd's too quick, hits too hard, moves too good. I think Floyd's going to outbox him, win a 12-round decision.
Now, getting to Ring 10, you've been very actively involved with Ring 10. Can you tell the folks why you got involved in Ring 10 and what your duties are with the organization?
Well, I'm on the board of directors. It's a great organization. We raise money for injured and the needy ex-fighters like Wilfred Benitez, Gerald McClellan, etc. Angel Manfredi. We help out a lot of ex-fighters that need a hand. It's a great charity organization. We have a 501c3 status with tax exempt. So I like it a lot.
All right. Very great, hardworking man. You're also an Ivy League graduate, also a pharmacist, boxing judge, famous for the Lederman card on HBO. Working with charity is a great man, hardworking man. Howard Lederman, ladies and gentlemen, thanks again for joining us.
Thank you, sir. Take care.
You know, in the last 5 years, there's one guy around the New York area who's just more popular than anybody else. I mean, without question, the guy that I want to bring up next to receive an award is the absolute most popular guy in the New York area. I mean, nobody is as popular as Irish John Duddy. He had 29 wins, 18 knockouts, 2 losses, no draws. He was born in Derry, Northern Ireland, and 34 years old. I mean, I kid him every day. I say, John, when are you making your comeback? He retired after losing a 12-round unanimous decision to Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. in June of 2010 at the Alamo Dome for the vacant WBC silver middleweight title. Has wins over Howard Eastman in 2007 and Yuri Boy Campus in 2006. He fought in Ireland 3 times as a professional, absolutely sold out the arena all 3 times. He always sold out the Felt Forum when he fought at Madison Square Garden. Let's bring him up. Let's have a nice hand for Irish John Duddy.
Thank you, Harold. Hello, folks. How you doing? Well, I'd like to thank you all because I'm from Ireland. And New York City is my home. I'm very fortunate to fight in the greatest arena in the world, Madison Square Garden. I grew up watching fights, watching these legends right here beside me fight in Madison Square Garden, and I was lucky enough to be in that arena where greats have been. And when I came here, I was on a wing and a prayer, and New York City opened its arms and welcomed me, and I'm very fortunate, I'm very proud to be a part of this great city and to being a fighter and fight for the fans. And I want to thank you all for this amazing charity, Ring 10, to let fighters know that whenever we quit, we're not finished. We're still around, we're still here. Thank you all very much.
Thanks, John. And let me tell you, man, it was an honor to be in your fights. You were great, just a great fighter. And to tell you the truth, I'm so sorry to see you retired because you're something special. There's a guy sitting out in the audience today that...
All right, I'm Rose. I'm here with John Duddy, Derry Destroyer. Tell us about that, Derry Destroyer.
Derry Destroyer, yes. Well, when I first started fighting professional, I had Ireland's John Duddy. And I took a guy that was born in Zimbabwe called Jay Mumba. He writes for the Irish Echo. And he coined the phrase, the Derry Destroyer.
Because you destroyed him, obviously.
Obviously I did, you know, but unfortunately when I go home, people tell me Derry was destroyed long before I came around, you know.
So tell us about Derry's the place in Ireland that you're from, and you said it was destroyed already?
Well, it was destroyed, but they built it back up, thank God. So that's where I was born, you know.
Wow, okay, so just like that, you're the destroyer, and you actually retired. Are you going to be built back up, or are you completely done now?
What do you mean built back up? I haven't gone anywhere.
Well, you've retired though, right?
Yeah, I retired from fighting. I still get beat up at home with my wife, which I do deserve. You know?
That's the way it should be. That's good. Good for you. So tell us about that. Is there a reason that you retired?
Yeah, I don't like fighting no more.
Good for you. Is there something more important to you that you've been wanting to do or that you've started doing?
I think what little brain cells I've got left, I'd like to hold on to them.
I completely agree. You know, I used to play rugby, and I got like 8 concussions, and finally...
You used to play rugby?
Yeah, I did. But this interview is about you. I just wanted to tell you that I completely understand because I got so many concussions that finally the last one, like I couldn't do anything for like 2 months, and I was like, all right, I'm done. So.
Well, the last fight I had in New York, the doctor asked me, have you ever been knocked out or concussed? And I told him, I don't remember. He says that's not funny. I says, I think it's funny, it's my head.
I shouldn't be laughing, but yeah, it's probably, that's usually the time that you have to stop. So.
Well,
good.
I don't remember having any concussions. I'm sure I've had a few, but...
You really don't remember? I thought you were kidding.
No, I've never been knocked out, and I don't know if I've ever been concussed. But I'm sure I have been. You
know, you're actually known, I'm sure you know this, you're known for your knockouts. Is there a reason, I shouldn't say is there a reason, but since you're known for your knockouts, is there a tactic that you use to make sure that you don't have to fight any more than you have to and just get them out?
Well, I was always taught as a kid with my dad, the best fight to fight is to make a fight as easy as possible. And I was fortunate enough in the professionals that I was able to knock guys out. And if you can knock them out, that makes it easy for you. But if you can't knock them out, then it gets complicated.
Yeah. What other are your go-to moves as far as if you don't knock them out right away? Like, what are your tricks? Or what were your tricks?
Unfortunately, my trick was if you can't knock me out, I'm going to be staying there all night to punch you back.
Yeah. And that's where the brain thing comes in, right? The brain cell thing.
That's probably lack of brain. That's where that comes in, you know.
So who was your favorite opponent to fight?
Look, I've had a few. I've had a few good guys that after the fight was done, we were able to go out and hang out and have a drink. Matt Vanda was one of them. Real good guy. Yuri Boy Campus was a great fight that I had. Howard Eastman was another great fight that I had. But one of the most memorable guys that I fought was probably Matt Vanda. We fought in the garden 10 rounds, and after it we went to a little Irish bar and we had a few pints and we talked about the future. It was great.
I love it. You know, in rugby, that's the same thing that you do. You play the game and then everybody drinks together and has a good time. But all of your memorable matches, you're talking about the after, you know, the after party basically. Are there any that like were so memorable for the actual fight that you really, like the harder people that you've had to beat?
Waldy Smutchett was a guy I fought in the garden, and I think I boxed the worst 3 rounds of my life. I ended up having 70-something stitches on my face, but I won the fight because I started boxing. I tried to fight a fighter. That was a real memorable fight, and I knew that plan A ain't working, plan B's not working, plan C's not working. Oh, thank God I had a plan D, you know?
Well, what was the plan D? What was the thing that helped you turn it around? Like in the movies, you see the slow motion process going on. What happened?
I got on my jab, used my jab, started boxing him. He was smaller than me. Why was I getting so close? Kept him at range, and it worked out in the end.
Yeah. Now, how did you prepare yourself for life after boxing?
Unfortunately, you can't prepare yourself for it, you know, and I remember one of my heroes, Barry McGuigan from Ireland, said the first person they know when a fighter's done is the fighter himself, but he's always the last to acknowledge it. And I took a leaf out of that book, and my heart was gone from boxing long before I retired, and I knew that whenever the day came, I was training and I was fighting it, and I'm like, I'm fighting myself to be a fighter. No, there has to be other ways to make a living in life. Like I was boxing from a very young age, and I've never really tried anything else. So I was 31, I still have some brains left, and I says, you know what, I've enough of this game, and there must be something else out there that I've got a passion for and that I'm good at working at, and that's basically what I'm doing now. Preparing for it, there was no preparing for it. It just over the course of the years, the novelty of being a prize fighter wore off, and the reality of it hit me like a great right hand, and I was like, you know what, I lived the dream of a 7-year-old kid, and now I'm walking around and I'm looking to pursue another dream of a 31-year-old kid, you know?
That's so wonderful. And you see all these days with the NFL, there are people that have long-term effects on their brain, and you think about it, and a lot of people will say, I actually heard this in an interview, that NFL people will say that they'd rather get a concussion than like hurt their knee because they're just thinking like short-term, the quickest way to get back. But in reality, then you have to live with that long-term. Like you don't think about that after. So I think it's really great that you thought about the long-term.
Well, I thought about the long-term long even before when I was a kid, but it's fascinating how they do all this research on concussions and no brain damage, and it's with football players and hockey players. You don't see any people researching for boxers. And
you guys are the ones that get directly hit in the face constantly.
The object of boxing is to render your opponent useless. And there must be some form or way where the repercussions of a fighter, it doesn't hit you once you retire, but I don't know what I'm going to be like when I'm 30 or 45 or 55, and I've had a lot of fights and I've took a lot of punches, and there must be something. I did get hit a lot. You're a boxer, so there must be something that we can do to challenge that once we retire, to hopefully rehabilitate ourselves and not become a burden on our loved ones, you know. And unfortunately, with boxing being such a dissected sport, it's not like football or hockey, ice hockey, you know. And if someone was to have the courage to investigate into that and protect these guys that are willing to get in the ring and give us a night's entertainment. Like every time you step into the ring, you lose something and you'll never get it back. So there must be something that we can do to help prepare us even for the future ahead, you know?
Definitely. I completely agree with that. That's wonderful. Well, I'm sure that your wife really appreciates the brain cells that you have left. You seem to have a lot, so really great interview. Great to talk to you. Thank you so much, John.
Nice to meet you, Rose. Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much.
All right.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm telling you, we're gonna keep bringing you these hits. We got the biggest names in the history of the sport of boxing coming to you on this episode of Real Fans Real Talk, and we got a couple more. So sit right there and don't move.
We get to a new award that really kind of started. You know, we had when we started talking about the affair. We said, well, we got the John Duddy Award, the Arthur McCarthy Award. I said, we really should have another award. And someone came up with the idea of having an award named after the former light heavyweight champion of the world. I guess it was my idea. And so we named an award after Jose Torres. And Jose was born in 1936. He died tragically in January 2009 of a heart attack in Ponce, Puerto Rico. He won the silver medal as junior middleweight at the 1956 Olympics in Melbourne. Jose was a Customado fighter, and in 1965 he beat Willie Pastrano for the WBA and WBC light heavyweight championship of the world. Defended it a couple of times, and then he lost it in 1966 at Madison Square Garden to Dick Tiger. But, you know, Jose Torres was just such a popular guy, and he became the chairman of the New York State Athletic Commission. He wrote for the New York Post. He wrote a biography of Mike Tyson, and he's just an all-around man about town. So when we got together to pick a winner for the Jose Torres Award, Matt and I and the other members of the board said, we got to give it to somebody special, somebody we really, really admire, somebody who just will live up to the name Jose Torres. And without question, we unanimously picked one of the great referees in the history of boxing. Ladies and gentlemen, let's have a real nice hand for my friend, a great guy, a fabulous referee, a fabulous boxing judge, one of the greatest guys in boxing, Tony Perez. Hold your hand up. I always wanted to do that.
Being a referee is not an easy job. You stop it too quick, you stop it too slow, sometimes you did it right, well, controversial all the time. One of the fights that I remember, one of my best fights, of course, was when I did a second fight between Muhammad Ali and Joe Frazier, very big honor. That was in Madison Square Garden. That was my best. My worst fight, when I have to disqualify a champion. I have to disqualify. It has never happened before that I know in the world. But he didn't give me no other choice. Why? Roy Jones Jr. He knocked down a guy. The guy is in all fours, he's down, and he kept hitting him. I could run, I was on the other side, I could run, and I stopped it, and I have to disqualify the man. Ladies and gentlemen, to disqualify a world champion, take a little guts. And I did. I have no other choice. Okay? That was my worst fight. Now, I'm here, and I always have to say, refereeing is not an easy job. But I have to give credit to one person that I think that we started in boxing together. I started as a referee in Madison Square Garden, and it was his first fight. Guy is here, Randy Newman. Randy Newman happened to win. Hey, Randy, where are you, Randy? Randy Newman happened to be not only nice guy, intelligent fellow, but he's also, right now, in my opinion, the best referee in boxing, worldwide. So, give a hand to Randy Newman, please. And I also have to say that, judging a fight is not too easy. When you are judging a fight, you have to make a decision. It used to be that wait until you do all the rounds at the end of the fight. Somebody considered that that was not too right. And now, for the last few years, I don't know how many years, they want the referee to collect the scorecards, okay? Every round, there's no way for anything, for excuses or anything. The referee collects the scorecards and give it to the guy in charge, guy from the commission, and at the end of the fight, they announce the decision, okay? There's a lot of fights that a lot of people, close fights. You know, there's a way, and I want to say to you, to score a fight, there's 4 ways to score a fight. Clean punching, effective aggressiveness. Effective aggressiveness, the guy could be aggressive, but he's not punching, he's not scoring. He's aggressive and he's missing, the other guy may be missing. The other one is defense, and the last one is ring generals. You go for those 4 things, you can make no mistakes. Well, sometimes you're sitting there as a judge, and you say, hey, somebody hit somebody, because this fight is so close, my God, this round is so close, I don't know where to go. Oh my God. So you gotta do your best. It's a close round, you do your best, and if your best is not enough, too bad, but that is the way the system works. Okay? Then, at the end of the fight, when they announce the winner, there's a lot of problems. It's what they call split decisions, unanimous decisions. Unanimous decision, you know, the 3 judges agree. Split decision, and there is when come a little trouble. 2 guys against 1. 2 judges saw it one way, and it happens. It happens, believe me, there are so many. If you're a judge, and I've been talking to some judges, the round is over. What do? You have 2 seconds to score that round. You have to do your best. And at the end of the fight, well, it's either unanimous or split decision. Well, it happens to, in the last fight, it was a good fight in the garden, Barker. Barker is fighting a guy from Australia, is fighting a guy from England, and there was a split decision. See? If my wife, Barbara Perez, Barbara, por favor, hey, stand up please, everyone. She was one of the judges of that fight. Great fight, split decision. Barker won, 2-1. She on the right side. They show me a picture later of my best fight, Joe Frazier and Muhammad Ali, one of the best fights ever. I have hard moment to do that fight, and great fight. 3 of the greatest fights in the whole world. And people take number 1, number 2, number 3, take 1. There were 3 great fights. So, without saying any more, I'd like to welcome everybody here. And boxing is the best sport in the world.
That's right, yeah! Hands up from the crowd.
Thank you very much.
Tony will wear these his next fight. Right?
Hey everyone, it's Mark the Statman Skevich from the award-winning sports talk show Real Fans Real Talk on realfansrealtalk.com. Here with the legendary referee Tony Perez. Tony, obviously the biggest fight you refereed, because it's one of the biggest fights of all time, was the Ali Frazier fight back in 1974 in Madison Square Garden. There's rumors that say that, you know, Ali was kind of cuffing the back of Frazier's head, and you kind of felt that you should have, you should have done something about it. Could you tell us about that?
Well, in boxing, in an important fight like that, especially, people like to complain about everything. So that's if they got boxing fans, people see this way. So I was the one that called the shots, and I am the responsible for whatever happened. And I said I'd make the right decision.
Now, it was also rumored that you felt that, like you said, you didn't call the shots. You're the referee in there, but you felt like the higher-ups at the time were kind of saying that, just let it go because Ali is going to complain racism if he gets disqualified. Is that true?
No, that's not true. People talk, and they will say, and this is why the fans come. They're very interesting. Everybody has his own opinion. It's very interesting, but I don't pay not too much attention to that because it's always going to be criticism on a close one.
And the Collins fight was another fight that was controversial. You talked earlier today at the Ring 10 charity about how you had to disqualify Roy Jones Jr. Can you tell us about the controversial Collins fight?
Yeah, Roy Jones Jr.?
Oh no, it was Collins. We'll cut for a second. Collins versus Billy Collins, Louis Resto. The plaster and the gloves and all that. You remember that, or?
Yeah, I remember, sure, but again, the people has the right way to criticize or see their way, and this is important because the fans got their opinions, and I think I did the right decision.
We're gonna cut a little bit. I was like, we'll start over from that. The Collins versus Resto fight, there was some controversy. Obviously, it's not your fault, but what do you think boxing could have done to prevent that from happening and the damage done to Collins?
Well, that's up to the boxing commissions, and I am not the one to tell the boxing commissions what to do because I work for them, and you see I'm in a very tough situation right there.
Okay. And you get put into tough situations all the time with refereeing. One of them, you said, was your worst fight, the fact that you had to disqualify Roy Jones Jr. Could you tell us a little something about that?
What was that?
Roy Jones, how you felt having to make that decision?
How he felt?
No, how you felt having to make that decision.
Oh, very sad. Very sad that but I have no other choice because he hit the man in the floor twice, 3 times, and I can stand that. I knew it was going to be a tough decision because taking and disqualifying a world champion, oh my God, it takes a lot of guts, and I think. I don't know what happened to me, but I had to make the decision, and I did it, and I think I made the right decision.
Do you have any regrets on any decisions in any of the fights that you made in the past?
Not really. Regrets? I got a few, like Mancinni said, but very few to mention. No, I don't have nothing to say about it.
Once again, one of the best referees of all time. How do you feel being honored today at Ring 10?
Oh, this is great for me. I feel so proud. I cannot thank enough the people of Ring 10? Yes, for honoring me on this big day. And my thanks to Mr. Gaffaro, and that's his name? Mr. Gaffaro?
Matt Farrago.
Matt Farrago, yes, he's a very nice person, and I will thank you very much for him to invite me over. It's an honor for me to be invited here and be in the dais.
All right, Mark the Statman Skevich here with the legendary Tony Perez. Thank you for coming on the show.
You're welcome.
All righty. The main event today is Livingstone Bramble against Ray Boom Boom Mancinni. Let's start with one of our honored guests from last year. Livingstone Bramble was here last year and keeps saying he wants to move back to Saugerties, New York, up near Kingston, but right now he's in Las Vegas, and he was kind enough to come all the way to New York for today's affair. Livingston, he's the first world champion from St. Kitts and Nevis. He was born in the Virgin Islands. He's 53 years old, and he was, you know, he was an underdog in Buffalo, New York, when he fought Ray Mancinni in June 1984. And in a very tough fight, he scored a sensational TKO in 14 rounds to take Mancini's title. He defended it against Ray in Reno and won a unanimous decision in 15 rounds. So Livingston has got 2 wins over Ray Mancinni. He lost his title to the great Puerto Rican fighter Edwin Rosario, and his career sort of spiraled downwards after that. But Livingstone Bramble was a Lou Duva fighter, and he fought some great fighters in his career. He fought Freddie Pendleton, Charles the Natural Murray. He fought Buddy McGirt, he fought Roger Mayweather, he fought Rafael Willis, and he fought Costa Zoo. So Livingstone Bramble had a great career, but his career will always be highlighted by the 2 wins over Ray Mancinni. Ray, on the other hand, 52 years old, one of the most popular fighters that ever lived. Everybody knew the story of Ray Mancinni. His dad, Lenny Mancinni, was a fighter during World War II who was wounded in the war fighting for the United States. And he never could win the World Championship because of the wounds that he suffered in the war. And his son Ray came on to win a title that his father could never win. And Ray was one of the most popular fighters that ever lived. And, you know, everybody talks about his defense against the Korean Doo Kim, in which Kim died after a vicious fight 4 days after the fight. And if you see the movie, it's just a very, very touching movie that tells the story of Ray Mancinni and Doo Kim. And it's a movie not to be missed, folks. And Mark Kriegel's book, The Good Son, is fabulous. Buy a copy in the back, you'll really love it. Don't miss the movie, whatever you do. I saw it twice, and twice I was moved beyond belief by the movie. As I say, it's the story of Ray, and you'll understand what fighters have to go through in life, and Ray's done so well with his life after boxing. He's now in the motion picture industry, and we're so proud to have him here today, because let me tell you, we've got double the crowd we had last year, and I maintain it's because of Ray Mancinni. So, let me bring the both of them up. They say, I don't know, Matt Farrago says they haven't talked to each other for 25 years, but I don't believe it. 2 great fighters, Livingstone Bramble, Ray Mancinni.
First we'll have Livingston talk and then Ray.
When Matt called me and he asked me to come here, he says Ray was gonna be here. I said, "You sure you want me to show up with Ray here?" And he said, "No, Ray says it's okay." It's been years now, and it saddened my heart that we could never get together before after putting up those 2 incredible fights, the last 15 round bout they had. And we didn't shake hands. We very seldomly hold each other. Ray did something in the first fight which I wasn't really aware of, and it could have cost me that fight, because he would get off first and he would hold me, and I didn't understand that for quite some time going into the later rounds. And not until I was able to get him to stop holding me, I was able to really complete the fight. But I should have really retired after the first fight, because I know in my heart there was never ever going to be a performance like that. I destroyed Tyrone Crowley because of the damage they did to my brothers in Philadelphia back when they destroyed all the Rastafarians places down there. So I had something built up for Crowley. Ray, I wanted the championship. I wanted it, and truthfully, if my name was Ray Mancinni that night, around the 8th round, I would say goodbye. I'm getting a job at my cousin's place, because it was tough. You know, so I will not. I can't measure the hearts right now. Ray's got a big heart. I can't tell you mine's is bigger than his, because 8th round, I was going to say goodbye. I'm thanking him so much for being there and putting up the fight that he did, because it made me the person I am. Thank you, Ray.
Hello everyone, I'm Mark the Statman Skevich from the award-winning sports talk show Real Fans Real Talk on realfansrealtalk.com. I'm here with the one and only Livingstone Bramble. Now, Livingstone, you never officially retired. Your last fight was back in 2003. Are you still thinking about getting back in for another fight?
I got 3 daughters, and they ain't married, so I'm not retiring until they get married.
Right, it makes perfect sense. A little unorthodox, personality that you have, where they rumored about like witchcraft and things like that, because you like to come out there with the snake. What do you have to say to the folks out there about your personal methods out there?
Well, number one, I got a bad line. You got a major fight. One guy is going to be the good guy, and the other guy is going to be the bad guy. And I got the role for the bad guy to play, and I played it well. But, as a Rastafarian, people should know that we're not involved with no evil spirits like that. So, right off the bat, they should know it was a joke.
Exactly. But you combined a little bit of like WWE mixed with boxing with having a little added extra character to it as well. But backtracking a little bit, what got you motivated into boxing in the first place?
I came over with a big family. I had 7 sisters and 2 other brothers, and I wanted something that I could do one-on-one for myself, not a basketball team or baseball. I tried all that, but the one-on-one I needed, and I got it, and when I got it, it was the best love that I had.
What would you say is the most memorable fight of your career?
By unanimous decision, it had to have been the first Ray Mancinni fight. That fight was a very tough fight. If my name was Ray Mancinni that night, I would have been signing out around the 8th round.
All right, we got a big fight coming up. Mayweather versus Canelo Alvarez. Who do you got?
I like Floyd. Floyd is a very good fighter. He's very polished. He has his skill and his techniques all down. I'm not counting out Alvarez, because if Alvarez is what people saying he is, and he steps up to the plate, then he should show something in this fight right here. So this will tell where Mayweather is at and how good Alvarez is.
All right. Do you regret the fact that there was the preamble to Bramble with the late, great Hector Camacho. Do you regret the fact that the fight never happened?
I really don't think Camacho wanted the fight to happen, because he tried to disturb me when I was getting ready to fight before his fight. So I don't really think he wanted it. He distracted me every way you can. It didn't cost me to lose the fight, but the way he was distracting me, I don't think he really wanted to fight me.
All right, could you tell the folks out there a little bit about Ring 10 and why you got involved in this event?
I got involved in Ring 10 because I realized a lot of fighters are not as fortunate as myself to have some type of retirement after the game is over. And when I see what they did, I decided to jump on board and do the very best that I can to come and help them out. I spend money coming here, leaving my home, leaving my dog, but I come and I'm very happy with what they're doing. I'm going to continue doing it because it's helping a few fighters.
What else do you do to keep busy now that your boxing career is on pause?
Well, I got a lot of injuries, with the boxing left me with injuries. I don't really have that much vision left, and I do have some brain damage that I have to take care of, and that's what I'm going to look forward to getting myself together and help as much guys that I can help.
When you do have your comeback fight, you're going to come on Real Fans Real Talk and announce it, though, right?
If my shoulder is healed by 2014, I will do the last fight. It will be in St. Kitts, and I'm hoping to get Sal Mambi so we could do a record of the 2 oldest champions in the ring ever.
All right, great. Sounds good. Looking forward to it. All right, Mark the Statman Skevich here with the legendary Livingstone Bramble. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next time.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you're just joining us, this is Real Fans Real Talk. We're not live in the studio this week. Myself and the Statman, we hit the streets, and we're going back out to Beantown this week, but we will be back in the studio live next week. You know how we do. We bring you documented footage every time we take a road trip outside of New York, so we'll bring that back with us next week.
Thank you. We'll make this quick because it's getting late. I want to thank all of you for coming out here today. First, I want to thank Ring 10 Matt Farago. This is an organization that's so badly needed and so sorely needed in the fight game. Fighters can only look out for each other. We have no unions, nobody's looking out for us, so we have to look out for each other. So organizations like Ring 10 help take care of fighters, and it's so badly needed. So if you get the word out to others to help support Ring 10, that would be great. When Matt called me about coming here, Matt was kind of like nervous, and he asked if I'd come, and I said, sure, if I can make it, I'd love to come. And he said, would you do it with Livingstone Bramble? I said, sure, I'd love to see him. I'd love to see Livingstone. Oh, good, Ray. Oh, Matt was more nervous than I don't know why he's nervous. I think people have to understand, when fighters get in the ring, when the fight's over, it's over. Whatever animosity you have, whatever bad feelings, it's over. I had seen Livingstone. Last time I saw him was 1992. I remember seeing him. And last time, I don't know if he remembers this, we saw each other. He came up to me and he said, Ray, it's so nice that we could finally meet as gentlemen instead of adversaries. And we shook hands and hugged. And I haven't seen him since. It's great to see him again. So for fighters, it's a joy to see. It's a small fraternity. We don't see each other that often. It's great to see friends, see Livingstone after all these years. He looks great, God bless him. And, when they offered me when they told me we had to fight Livingstone, I saw the tape. And I told my manager, Dave Wolf, I said, it's going to be a headache. It's going to be a headache, that's for sure. Fighters know what they're up against. Fighters know what we're up against. And I knew. And he fought a great fight. Fighters don't make fights. They say styles make fights. And we had perfect style for each other. And we two wars. And he was victorious both. He fought great. So I admire what he accomplished. But it's also a good chance. I love to come here today for Matt to see the fighters, see my friend Peter Quillen. I see Peter doing the banquet circuit recently, my friend. You better get back in shape, my brother. You better get out of shape.
Trip Young, Real Fans, Real Talk, and I'm here with WBO middleweight champion Peter Kid Chocolate Quillen, 29-0. What's going on?
I'm feeling blessed. You said 29-0, 21 knockouts. Boy, he's back. 21 knockouts. Now, you won the belt at the Barclays Center, and you were one of the first to fight in the Barclays Center. So you actually setting some trends yourself. When is your next fight? October 26th. I'm fighting on the undercard. Right now, they got me penciled in October 26th on the undercard of Bernard Hopkins. So that's what we're working at right now. But I'm just very happy to just notice that I made history in the Barclays Center by putting my stamp on there and caused the trend to be winning world titles there.
Well, we are from Brooklyn, so we do got to shout out the Barclays Center. But my next question is, you also beat down another legend in boxing. I believe it was 2 fights ago, Winky Wright.
Yeah.
And he retired 2 days after that fight. Now, would you say you're the man that put Winky Wright out of his misery?
I would say that, but Winky, I think he retired respectfully. He's older and he didn't look too good in the fight with me. And I'm not taking anything. I used to watch and be a fan of him. When he beat Trinidad, I was really mad, upset, because I'm like, man, But at the end of the day, every fighter fights for their glory, and one man's glory is another man's failure. You know what I'm saying? So I'm very thankful to be able to get the experience with a guy that's been in there with tons and tons of good fighters, and to be able to put my stamp on him.
Who was your toughest opponent thus far?
Myself. I know people, you probably hear that all the time, but I have to say myself, is because, as a fighter, we fight for so many things, and we have to go in the ring, and we, family, regardless what it is, we got to go in the ring at the end of the day and fight. And if you're not comfortable looking at yourself in the mirror, it's going to be hard to do that and try to accomplish things. So now I just know that, the only person that got the power to beat me is myself. That's why I don't look at these guys like they can fuck with me.
All right, now you rank 6th right now in the middleweight division. I want to throw 2 names out there, Sergio Martinez and Chavez Jr. When are we going to see that fight, either one of those fights?
Well, Chavez, I think, is moving up, so now I think he's more in line to be fighting like an Andre Ward now. Sergio, on the other hand, he's been looking like, I can't even find the words to say it, but I just know he's not been looking too great. And I just would say, he's trying to look like at this point in his career, he's looking to cash out. And it won't be with me because,
you know, I'm not going to give him the money I think that he really wants, like he would get for like a Mayweather or those kind of guys. But I just don't understand, like, you're a 160-pounder. Would you kill yourself to desperately try to fight a guy at 150? Canelo and Floyd is fighting at 152 pounds. Would Sergio do that? If so, then like make the fight happen. Other than that, he don't want it with me. He don't want no smoke.
Now you mentioned Andre Ward, who is actually ranked number 1 in the super middleweight division. Do you see yourself moving up in the ranks at all to fight him?
Well, right now I'm feeling comfortable being a 160-pound champion, and I'm just working hard right now to make sure that I can keep going out there and putting great performances against anybody. I like Andre Ward. He's a good, great fighter. I believe he's doing what he's doing right now is great stuff. So, you know, I'm a fan of his, and, you know what I mean, who knows in the future what that might hold. But right now I'm campaigning at 160 pounds. I feel comfortable with it, and, you know, let's see what my future holds. If I can't make the weight no more, I'll go up.
Right now, one of the biggest fights in boxing is coming up. Floyd Mayweather versus Canelo Alvarez. Who is Kid Chocolate taking in that fight?
Well, let's first and say, you know, Brooklyn is my home. I live in Brooklyn. I love Brooklyn.
Brooklyn, what's up?
100%, you know what I mean? Floyd Mayweather's from Grand Rapids. That's my second home. I actually was raised all my life. And, you know, I was inspired so much by him because, you know, it's hard to get out of a mental state where I was in and being in my city to feel like I wasn't going to never be nothing. And then when I seen a Floyd Mayweather fight, I was like, this is what I mean, before then I was like a Tyson fan and all that, but Mayweather was somebody I feel like I could touch because he's from the same city I'm from, been through what I've been through, and, you know, his family, you know, my family knows his family. It's like that kind of town, and, you know what I'm saying, I'm going to go with Floyd Mayweather because he's 17 years undefeated. People don't know that. He's 17 years undefeated, and what he accomplished in boxing, that shit is just not something somebody just can do. That's something that comes with hard work. That comes with, you know, the faith in God. That comes with a lot of different things. And when you hear Floyd talks, he talks without a doubt at all.
All right, now, we had the Ring 10 charity event, and basically what Ring 10 does is they help to raise funds for destitute boxers. So my question to you is, how are you preparing yourself for life after boxing?
Well, I got married. I brought a little bit more structure to my life, having a wife, having a partner to be able to, like, come up with good ideas for me to save money, put my monies in the right places, and, you know, at the same time, you know, being in these type of events, bringing awareness to myself to know that, you know, motherfuckers become fucked up, but you can't look at it just like as a boxer. You got to look at it as athletes, and particularly I really take a big thing as looking at black athletes because we already get assassinated already for, you know, what they try to bring negative on us. But I just know that I'm not trying to be somebody at the end of my career who looks back and don't have nothing to show for what I've done.
All right, once again, it's Trip Young, Real Fans Real Talk, and this is 29-0 WBO middleweight champion.
You gotta say the 21 knockouts.
21 knockouts. Let me say that, 21 knockouts, and he's also a Brooklyn native. So we gotta shout that out again. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me. I want to shout out Brooklyn because that's where I'm at, and I love you, Brooklyn.
Man, you eat like you're going to the chair for crying out loud. Come on, man. And then, of course, to see Mark Brilliant. Mark is such a wonderful man, wonderful champion, wonderful fighter. And then, of course, the Blade, Iran Barker. You can get no better than Iran. You can get no better than Iran. My man. And, of course, the magic man. Marlon Sutter. Marlon Sutter is one of the guys, you look at him, just how does he do that? He's just one of the fighters. He did, you know, as a fighter, you admire the things he accomplished. So I admire that. John, I just want to tell you, I'm so happy to meet you. Because most people don't know, my father's Sicilian, my mother's Irish. So, which makes me what, a mean drunk. I used to tell people, say, we know your father's from Sicily, what part of Italy is your mother's from? I said, no, my mother's Irish. My father would be back, oh, don't say that, don't say that. My friend Larry Barnes, so nice. And so it's always a pleasure to be around fighters. It's always a pleasure because fighters are some of the greatest people I know. It's a sport where it builds character. It's the greatest. It helped make me the man I am. But more than anything, it makes gentlemen out of most of us. So when fighting's over, all the animosity, all that's gone. You know, love is in the air, baby. Love is in the air. You know. So it's just a pleasure to be here with so many great fighters. I'm so honored to be here and to count them as my friends. And I'm so glad to see Livingstone after all these years. He looks great, God bless him. So thank you all for coming. Enjoy. Thank you for having me here.
What's going on? It's Trip Young, Real Fans, Real Talk, and I'm here with the legend, Ray Boom Boom Mancinni. And I'm going to take you back to 1980. You just won the light heavyweight championship. You beat Bobby Sparks. What was going through your mind when the referee raised your hand and said you are the champion?
Well, when I beat Bobby Sparks, that was for the Ohio championship, Ohio State championship. So after that happened, I said, of course you have aspirations of the world championship. You know, first you always want to be world champion. That's the only reason you get into boxing. So, but you win along the way. You win smaller titles. That was my first title, the state championship of Ohio. Then I won the North American title when I beat Jorge Morales, and then obviously got shot against Alex Arguello. And then, even though I lost that first shot, it gave me an opportunity to get a second shot against Art Frias and winning the world title. It's the ultimate. It's the greatest feeling. There's nothing that I'll ever accomplish to be that with the same feeling.
Who was your toughest opponent in the ring?
Without a doubt, Alex Arguello.
Now, you mentioned you won the state championship of Ohio. Now, I don't know if a lot of people know, but you also do film as well. And you produced a film called Youngstown Still Standing. And in that film, you introduced, amongst others, was Kelly Pavlik, was one of the fighters that you introduced. And you also had Ed O'Neill. And for you guys that don't know, Ed O'Neill is Al Bundy, poke high, 4 touchdowns in a single game. But what's it like making the transition from boxing and then going into film?
Boxing is much easier because then I get in the ring, I win, I lose, it's in my hands. Entertainment business is very little in your hands. You control very little of that business. And that's why so many athletes don't make the transition well, because they don't like other people dictating their success. They don't, and they think that because they accomplish, they're great in their field, their sports field, that translates over to entertainment. It doesn't.
And you currently own 2 production companies.
Yeah.
How did you get started?
To try to guarantee work for myself. The only reason I started my company was so I could work. I mean, that was it. And I was fortunate. You get projects, you create projects for yourself, and eventually you get it done. But it takes a while.
When you see somebody walking around and talking, they're going to ask you.
It takes a while, that's for sure.
Now, there's another thing a lot of people don't know is that you also have a cigar company.
I did. I no longer have the cigar company, though I had it for 8 years. I loved it. It was a wonderful, but I have a wine company now.
Thank you very much on behalf of New York City.
All right, so the cigar company is no longer in existence. We were hoping we could get some cigars for the set of the show, but we're going to have to wait till next. Now, do you still have the wine tasting shop?
I have the wine company, not a wine shop, but I have a wine company, and we're doing good. We came out round 1 4 years ago, and then we had we left, had a separation with the company. We did round 1, so we finally were looking for a new company, and finally we found a company in Napa. So we're doing round 2, 3, and 4, which is being introduced today. So the wine, I'm very excited. We have a Merlot, a Moscato, and a Cabernet, and I'm excited. The wine company is a good company. I've been drinking wine 30 years, and it's a good business, and I'm having a good time with it.
Are you working on any new film projects currently?
We're in pre-production to start a film. Our principal photography date is right now is tentatively set for October 28th. To shoot in Youngstown, Ohio.
All right. Now, you've had a movie about your life. Well, tell me, what was that like?
Well, it's a little bit surreal when you see your life up there being transformed into a film, but it's very satisfying, very gratifying, very humbling. But I'm very, very honored by it, though.
All right, now I got to get back to the boxing because there is a huge boxing fight coming up, and I know you know it. It's Floyd Mayweather versus Canelo Alvarez. Who you taking in the fight?
See, I tell people, Floyd is special. It really is. But we'll never know how good he could have been because in the era of 12 rounds, doesn't mean, in the era of 12 rounds, it's very few fighters can say greatness because it's not 15. Greatness is acquired over the last 3 rounds, not the first 12. So in the era of 12 rounds, it's hard to say. Guys like Floyd are special, though. But to me, it's up to Canelo. Canelo's 22 years old. Floyd's 36. Canelo's a natural junior middleweight. Canelo, I met him. He's built like a linebacker. If he comes over and jumps on Floyd right from the get, makes it a dogfight, he'll beat Floyd. But if he goes out there and sits back like to do, give the first couple rounds away, if he gets the first 2 rounds away, he has to win 7 of the next 10 to win, and that ain't going to happen. So it's really up to Canelo what he does. If he goes out there and tries to take his time, Floyd will pick him apart. But if he goes out there and jumps on Floyd right from the get, make it a dogfight, he'll beat him.
How did you prepare for your life after boxing?
Hopefully you find a passion. Hopefully you find something else that interests you, and you go after it. I was introduced to the entertainment business. Never thought of being an actor or anything like that. But I said, well, I auditioned for a couple things, and the camera didn't punch back. The worst thing what happens was take 2. I said, man, why didn't I do this earlier? So I said, well, that's something I want to pursue, and I did. But you got to jump into it like a fighter. You got to jump into it with both feet, and you can't tap dance, So I've done that. When I studied and I worked, and through the years I've been fortunate to work. And then that's when I started my company to guarantee work for myself. Now I'm more interested in producing other projects. Some things I'll act in, some things I won't.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is Trip Young again for Real Fans, Real Talk, and I'm here with Ray Boom Boom Mancinni, another legend in the world of boxing. Thank you so much for coming on to the show.
My pleasure.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. That was part 2, the final part of the Ring 10 New York Charity Awards dinner that, of course, myself, Mark the Statman, Skevich, and Ravishing Rose Claire. Hey, man, we suited up, got suited and booted for you guys. You used to seeing us with T-shirts, button-ups, and all that, but we threw on the suits and the hard bottoms just to go out and support Ring 10 New York. Of course, if you want to know more information about them, you can check them out on the web at ring10ny.com, and you can get all the info about the organization, what's going to be the next upcoming events, who's down, and if you guys want to support them, you can do all of that right there through the website. All right, and again, we will see you guys right here back in the studio live next week, BronxNet, Channel 68 on Cablevision, Channel 34 on Verizon. Make sure you check us out on the web at realfansrealtalk.com, live on the radio this coming Sunday at 7:30 p.m. We're on the Blog Talk Radio Network, and all of the shows are archived on the Real Fans Real Talk website. So go check us out. Hit us up on Facebook, facebook.com/Real Fans Real Talk, on Twitter at Real Fan Talk. Send us all your fan mail questions. Whatever you got, we'll answer them. Myself, Statman, Ravishing Rose Claire, or Sean Fontaine. But with that being said, peace. I gotta roll.
Face facts, what up, what up? RealFansRealTalk.com, where Arthur Diamonds, Trip Young, and intern Tom. For the white and black fans, Asia to Manhattan, I get all my facts from my bro Mark the Stats Man. If you're not tuned in, I recommend the CAT scan. And if your brain checks out, then you deserve a backhand. Sports, gossip, all the hot topics. RealFansRealTalk.com got it. They got the hottest bloggers.
Is Jeremy Lin hurt?
Well, log onto the site and you can hear it from them first. I'm talking about the latest. I'm talking about the greatest. Go check out the archives. Even tell a neighbor. Tell him Bobby sent ya. From spring to winter, tuning in should be the only thing on your agenda. Certified cosign, you know what I'm about, son. RealFansRealTalk.com. I'm out one. Real fans, real talk. Real fans, real talk. RealFansRealTalk.com. RealFansRealTalk.com. Real fans, real talk. Real fans, real talk.